In the heart of America's tapestry, a legacy was born amid the tumult of the Civil War, an institution that would evolve into one of the nation's banking titans. On July 13th, 1863, even as cannons boomed across the Ohio River, the First National Bank of Cincinnati opened its door under the National Charter Number 24, one of the oldest active national bank charters in the United States. That charter, signed during Abraham Lincoln's presidency, would lay the enduring foundation for what we now know as U.S. Bancorp and U.S. Bank N.A., a journey through time, mergers, resilience, and reinvention. Our story begins with the First National Bank of Cincinnati, established on that fateful July day in 1863. It wasn't just a bank. It was a statement of continuity. While the Civil War raged, the institution planted the seeds of endurance and growth. Around the same era, a parallel story unfolded in the Pacific Northwest. In 1891, the United States National Bank of Portland came into being, later merging with Ainsworth National Bank in 1902 and evolving into the United States National Bank of Oregon. Meanwhile, in the Midwest, the First National Bank of Minneapolis, founded in 1864, merged with the First National Bank of St. Paul in 1929, creating the First Bank Stock Corporation, later renamed First Bank System in 1968. Thus, out of varied origins, Ohio, Oregon, Minnesota rose a burgeoning financial force. Fast forward to March 1997, First Bank System, Minneapolis-based, and U.S. Bancorp of Oregon agreed to merge in a stock deal valued at nearly $9 billion. First Bank System became the nominal survivor but adapted the well-known U.S. Bancorp name and headquartered in Minneapolis. This consolidation expanded their footprint across the Midwest, West, creating a unified brand poised for national relevance. In October 2000, another seismic shift occurred. First Star Corporation, Milwaukee, announced a $21 billion stock acquisition of U.S. Bancorp. Though First Star was the legal survivor, the merged entity kept the U.S. Bancorp name and moved the headquarters to Minneapolis. The merger finalized on February 27, 2001, securing a modern banking powerhouse. U.S. Bancorp's growth strategy leaned heavily on acquisitions. 2003-2005 added Piper Jaffray's brokerage and investing banking division, GenPass, and the MoneyPass ATM network. 2004 purchased Mellon United National Bank's corporate trust business and key municipal bond trustee businesses from SunTrust and LaSalle. 2005 acquired $410 billion in trust and custody services from Wachovia for $720 million. 2008 from 2009, during the financial crisis, bought failed institutions like Downey Savings and Loan, Pomona First Federal, First Bank of Idaho, rescuing community banking while expanding. U.S. Bancorp was the first repaid troubled asset relief program, TARP, funds in mid-2009. As of 2024 through 2025, U.S. Bancorp stands tall as the fifth largest bank in the U.S. with 3,661 branches and 4,771 ATMs nationwide. Headquarters in Minneapolis, Minnesota, incorporated in Delaware, providing a full spectrum of financial services, banking, mortgages, asset and wealth management, credit cards, insurance, and more. A public company trading in the S&P 500, S&P 100, featured in the 2024 Forbes Global 2000, employing over 70,000 people and holding $678 billion in assets, $6.33 billion net income, and $7.84 billion in operating income as of 2024. In mid-April 2025, Gunjan Keita took the helm as CEO, succeeding a line of seasoned banking leaders. No journey is without its bumps. In 2018, U.S. Bancorp faced a $613 million Department of Justice fine for anti-money laundering failures, resulting in improved systems and payback mechanisms, including a $505 million reimbursement to affected customers. In 2020, during the George Floyd protests, The U.S. Bancorp Center in Minneapolis was damaged, and two other branches were destroyed. The bank rose to the challenge, reopening, rebuilding, and donating property for affordable housing redevelopment. U.S. Bank doesn't just serve communities, it invests in them. The U.S. Bank Foundation drives philanthropic grants, local partnerships, and disaster relief programs. Initiatives like Access Commitment launch targeted programs including Access Home, down payment help up to $17,500, Access Business, small business advisors, and Access Wealth financial guidance for underserved communities. Through its community benefits plan, the bank pledged $100 billion over 5 years starting from 2022, focusing on equitable access to capital, especially for low and moderate income areas, communities of color. In 2023, the bank's community development and tax credit investments totaled $8 billion, including $1.5 billion invested in California alone. And most recently, the Community Possible program awarded $16.5 million in grants to nonprofits across the U.S., from tutoring and mentorship to sports programming. The 2023 Corporate Responsibility Report emphasizes ethical culture, strong governance, and sustainability, highlighting how ESG factors are integrated into credit analysis and business strategy. The Impact Finance team specializes in mobilizing capital toward environmental and social goals, financing sustainable energy, inclusive growth, and community resilience projects. In 2023, the bank launched Access Capital, a program funding nonprofits in affordable housing and community development, further underlining its mission of positive impact. Let's not forget the compelling human stories. In 2019, a heartwarming incident made headlines. A Portland call center employee named Emily James was fired after she gave a stranded customer $20 from her own pocket on Christmas Eve. After public attention, she was rehired, highlighting both policies and empathy in banking culture. The bank's legacy is also colorful, like the first bank ever robbed by Butch Cassidy in Telroy, Colorado in 1889. It even encountered notorious outlaws like Babyface Nelson and John Dillinger in its early decades. Today, modern cybersecurity centers stand guard against threats, big and small. From its humble Civil War era beginnings in Cincinnati to its modern stature as the fifth largest U.S. bank, U.S. Bancorp and U.S. Bancorp N.A. has navigated a century and a half of growth, adversity, innovation, and reinvention. This isn't just a story of mergers and earnings. It's a story of resilience, community impact, and a clear vision of inclusive, sustainable banking. Whether it's rebuilding neighborhoods, investing in affordable housing, empowering underserved communities, or pioneering real-time payments, U.S. Bank stands as a dynamic bridge between tradition and tomorrow. So that's the journey, shaped by history, driven by purpose, and focused on a future where banking serves not just the balance sheet, but the community and the planet.